Good morning, and welcome to today's news discussion. I'm Dana.
Good morning, Dana. I'm Matt. Let's dive into the news stories we have lined up for today's conversation.
The USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, has returned home to Virginia after an 11-month deployment. This was one of the longest deployments since the Vietnam War.
That's quite a lengthy deployment. What were some of the key operations it was involved in during that time?
According to the reports, the USS Ford supported the U.S. war with Iran and was also involved in the capture of Nicolás Maduro when he was Venezuela's president.
Wow, those are significant operations. How does an aircraft carrier like the USS Ford contribute to such missions?
An aircraft carrier serves as a floating airbase, providing air support through its fleet of aircraft. In the case of the USS Ford, it likely provided air cover and strike capabilities during the operations against Iran and during the capture of Maduro.
That makes sense. So the USS Ford's deployment was quite extensive, both in terms of duration and the nature of the operations it supported.
Exactly. The deployment lasted 11 months, which is remarkable. The crew must have been away from home for a long time.
Yes, and it's not just the crew. The families back home also have to endure such long separations. What about the significance of this deployment in terms of military strategy?
The USS Ford's deployment demonstrates the U.S. military's capability to project power over a long period. It shows the readiness and flexibility of the U.S. Navy to engage in various operations across different regions.
That's an interesting point. Switching gears slightly, we've had news about a joint U.S.-Nigerian mission that resulted in the killing of a significant ISIS leader.
Yes, President Donald Trump announced that U.S. and Nigerian forces carried out a mission to kill a leader of the Islamic State group. The operation was conducted in Nigeria.
Do we know who this ISIS leader was? Was there any specific information about their role within the organization?
The reports indicate that the individual killed was a leader of the Islamic State group, but specific details about their exact role or identity weren't immediately clear from the initial announcements.
Okay, so this operation seems to be part of a broader effort to combat ISIS in the region. How significant is this operation in the context of the global fight against terrorism?
Killing a high-ranking ISIS leader is significant because it disrupts the organization's command structure. It can create internal confusion and weaken their operational capacity.
That makes sense. It's a tactical victory, but how does it fit into the larger strategic picture against ISIS?
It's part of a continued effort by the U.S. and its allies to degrade ISIS's capabilities worldwide. By targeting their leadership, the coalition aims to reduce their ability to plan and execute attacks.
Related to that, there's been another development regarding ISIS leadership. President Trump announced that Abu Bilal al-Manuki, described as ISIS's global second-in-command, was killed in a joint U.S.-Nigerian operation.
That's right. The operation was carried out by American and Nigerian forces, and al-Manuki was designated as a specially designated global terrorist by the U.S. in June 2023.
So this is a significant blow to ISIS, given al-Manuki's high-ranking position. What are the potential implications of his death for the organization?
The loss of a second-in-command can create a leadership vacuum, potentially leading to internal power struggles within ISIS. It could also impact their ability to coordinate global operations.
That's a crucial point. Leadership decapitation can have various effects on terrorist organizations, sometimes leading to increased violence as different factions vie for control.
Exactly. It's a complex situation, and the full impact will depend on how ISIS responds to this loss.
Moving to a different story, we've got news about a visit by Russian President Vladimir Putin to China.
Yes, Putin is set to visit China's Xi Jinping on May 19th for a 2-day visit, following closely after President Trump's trip to Beijing.
The timing is interesting, given that it follows Trump's visit. What are the expected outcomes or discussions during Putin's visit?
The Kremlin has stated that Putin and Xi will discuss strengthening bilateral ties and strategic cooperation between Moscow and Beijing. They'll also exchange views on key international and regional issues.
So it seems like a significant diplomatic engagement. How does this fit into the broader geopolitical context, especially considering the recent tensions and sanctions involving Russia?
China's relationship with Russia is crucial, especially given the current geopolitical tensions. China remains a key economic partner for Russia, and this visit likely aims to reinforce that partnership amid Western sanctions.
That makes sense. China and Russia have been strengthening their ties in various areas, and this visit is likely a part of that ongoing process.
Let's move on to a different story. There's been news about Felician Kabuga, a suspect charged in connection with the 1994 Rwandan genocide.
Yes, Kabuga died in a hospital while in custody in The Hague at the age of 91. He was being held by a UN court.
Kabuga was charged in connection with the genocide, and his death came 3 years after the court declared him unfit to stand trial.
The case against him was significant, given the severity of the crimes he's accused of. What were the specific charges against Kabuga?
While the exact details of the charges aren't specified here, individuals accused in connection with the Rwandan genocide typically face charges related to genocide, crimes against humanity, and other serious violations of international law.
It's a reminder that justice for such crimes can be a long and complex process, often spanning decades.
Exactly. Cases like Kabuga's highlight the ongoing efforts to hold individuals accountable for their roles in the genocide even years later.
As we wrap up today's discussion, it's clear we've covered a wide range of significant news stories, from military operations to diplomatic visits and international justice.
Indeed, we have. And it's been a thorough exploration of these stories, providing a comprehensive view of the current global landscape.
Well, that concludes our discussion for today. Thank you for joining me, Dana.
Thank you, Matt. It's been a pleasure discussing these important stories with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, good day.
Good day.